Hello and welcome once again, Talking Fight fans from around the world, to another episode of The Scoop with the champ Bola Ray on his ongoing series on the post-Ali era of the great rivalry and matchups between four great fighters. He refers to as the Fab Four. Maybe the whole entire boxing world calls them the Fab Four. Certainly not the Beatles. And tonight we've got another great episode. I'll let you introduce it. Go ahead. How you doing tonight?
Okay. I'm good. I'm good. Well, for today, the guys that I'm talking about today were so dominant that they reigned supreme over a few different weight classes at the same time. Both were world champions of different belts in the welterweight division at the same time, which created an epic unification bout. This is yet another classic bout of the Fab Four that made the 80s so memorable. My name is Bola Raymond Olubuwale. This is the scoop. The collision course was set for the two most iconic warriors in modern day boxing. His sweetness, and not me, but Sugar Ray Leonard, revered as one of the greatest boxing minds and ability of our time, and Tommy the Hitman Hearns, arguably the greatest puncher ever, pound for pound. During a pre-fight press conference, Tommy said that his right hand can make this the easiest fight he's ever had, and waved his fist, only to have Ray respond, Tommy makes a lot of mistakes and tries to knock everyone out with one punch. I use my mind. Maybe Tommy would if he had one. Okay. At this point in their career, Ray was seen as untested by some critics. His win over Roberto Duran was more seen as Roberto quitting as opposed to Ray winning. Tommy, on the other hand, was seen as a force in a few different divisions. With a record of 32 fights, 32 wins with 30 knockouts, he was nothing shy of impressive. Ray, in a future interview, admitted that he was actually intimidated by Tommy, who was 4 inches taller than him and had a 4-inch reach advantage. Of the Fab Four, these two were the most similar in that their styles were heavily influenced by Muhammad Ali and Ray Robinson. Sugar Ray Robinson, that is. They both relied heavily on their jabs to set up their offense and navigate their opponents throughout the fight. Ray was looking to a certain degree at a taller, longer version of himself who had the most dominant eraser in the world at the time. Yeah, he should feel nervous. Round one begins with Ray on his bike. Tommy's in hot pursuit. Now, Ray's doing a great deal is having a great deal of difficulty getting around Tommy's or dealing with Tommy's jab. Continued to dance on the outside, and which made things difficult for him to actually launch his own offense, being Tommy so much taller. He was hoping to rely on his impressive reflex and timing. But, encounter Tommy, that didn't really work out that great. Remember, this is the Hitman. And he's the Hitman for a reason. Part of what made him so successful was his timing. So Ray would attempt to dart in to the counter, and Tommy would be gone, coming back with a counter punch of his own. By the second round, it was evident that the strategy just was not working for Ray. Tommy was outboxing Ray from the outside, and with actually relative ease. Ray was attempt to dart in and counterpunch, and Tommy would just result in Tommy taking a step back and catching Ray over and over and over again. In the corner in the second round, Angelo Dundee, Ray's trainer, decided to change things up. He told Ray that you have to get inside. You have to get inside and take it to him. In a future interview, Ray commented on that suggestion and said, it's easier said than done. It's easy for him to say. He's not the one going in there on Tommy. Taking chances like that isn't the best idea if you want to remain on your feet at the final bell. But he had to do it. He had no choice. After losing to Duran, was the worst feeling he's ever had, and he vowed he'd never ever go there again. So, caution for the win. Round 3 started with Ray counterpunching Tommy's cross with a hook of his own, which landed flush. Now, Tommy wanted to pay Ray back, so he went hunting. And by this time, instead of Ray dancing around on the outside, Ray stood his ground and sat in the pocket and was slipping in close range. Very dangerous. It made for an interesting fight because it was like something's going to happen. One of these two are going to drop. The two fighters remained in striking range with each other for the remainder of the round, where both displayed inhuman speed and timing, where punches were thrown and the other would slip, and virtually no one caught a consequential punch. One would throw, the other would slip and come back with a shot, and the first person would slip, only come back with a shot, and the second person would slip again, and it goes on and on and on as such. Then a few seconds left in that round, Hearn caught Ray with a clean cross in the top of his head, followed up with a solid body shot. Boom. This had Ray fall into the ropes, and Tommy then unleashed a few more winning combinations, or round-winning combinations. It was evident that Ray couldn't outbox Tommy on the outside nor the inside. This narrative continued throughout the 4th and 5th round. So, Ray landed some great shots, but got payback and then some for his troubles, either on his way in or as he's finishing a combination and pulling out. Ray lost the first 5 rounds easy. Round 6. Now, this was a pivotal round. The round started with the usual exchange, which by this point in time, it almost looks rehearsed. Ray would throw a huge left hook, which Tommy would slip, come back with a big cross of his own, which Ray would slip. And Ray would come back with another hook, and Tommy would slip. But this time, the second hook, Tommy decided to just pull back instead of slip it. And he got caught flush on his chin. Tommy's legs turned to rubber, and he was in a daze. Ray came to life. Ray went to work to finish Tommy, and Tommy finished the round on his feet, but he was, like I said, he was in a daze. He was hurt. Taunting taunting him, Ray asks, "You all right?" As the round was done. Now the chess game has a new variable. Tommy has a suspect chin. Okay. Ray was exhausted going into the seventh. After that display, he was utterly gutted. In future interviews, Tommy recanted that going into the seventh round, he just wanted to take some much needed time to clear his head and catch his breath. But the strategy that he subscribed to made no sense to me. Instead of getting on his bike and dancing, peppering Ray from the outside, making it very difficult for Ray to actually get inside on him, Tommy decided to actually stand his ground and fire at close range. His thinking was that he was going to bully Ray and have Ray go back to the Ray of first and second round where he was dancing on the outside. This was an epic fail. Why? Because Ray didn't dance on the outside. Ray just took this opportunity to actually tag Tommy. Like, now they're in close range. Tommy gifted him, like, a better gift I cannot think of. He gifted him his body, and Ray took full advantage of it. Like, he's in striking range. He pounded him, and he just stood there. In the corner, Emmanuel Stewart changed the game plan and told Tommy he had to start boxing and remain on the outside. This worked beautifully. This was a complete role reversal. Now, all of a sudden, Tommy was the one on the perimeter, and Ray was the one hunting. This was a scenario for the next 3 rounds. Ray found it really, Ray didn't have an answer for this Ali lookalike. Now, early in the 11th round, Tommy catches Ray with a straight right hand. And for the first time, Ray went backwards, like retreated. Ray takes a couple steps backwards, not showing that he was hurt, but cautiously, Tommy brings the heat and pounds Ray for the remainder of the round. Now, okay, that's another round for Tommy. Round 12 saw both fighters change up their game plan once again, where they stood in the middle of the ring and they just exchanged. Tommy was finding a great deal of success with his flicking jab, but he wasn't throwing the cross. It was almost as if he took his foot off the pedal to knock him out and just was looking for the W. Accumulating points, and that was it. Ray, on the other hand, did even less. He didn't really throw that many punches and stood in like harm's way and just ate those jabs, those flicking jabs. Yeah, they weren't knocking him out, but he was rocking his head all over the place like a piñata. We're now in round 13. Round 13 saw Ray walk out into the middle of the ring and throw anything called fear and common sense out the window. He came in and gambled everything on his two support teams here. Gave him a jab and a crushing right that landed flush, which sent Tommy reeling back into the ropes. Ray did what Ray does, jumps him. 25 unanswered punches Tommy took a pounding from, only to have then Tommy finally roll out from one rope onto the adjacent rope, and Ray was in hot pursuit. Jumps him again and starts pounding him some more, only to have Tommy sort of fall through the ropes. It wasn't counted as a knockdown. The ref stops it. Tommy gets back in. Ray jumps right back on him. And with seconds left, Ray catches him and drops Tommy again. But this time, it's seen as a knockdown. All right. Tommy barely makes the count or to box, and the bell goes off. So he gets a much needed minute break. Now we walk into the 14th round. And after that much needed minute break, Tommy's way was going, everything was going his way for the first minute of the 14th round. And all he was doing, he was jabbing, he was on his toes. He threw a couple combinations, but he was dancing and he was keeping his distance from Ray. And that was all and good. Ray was stalking Tommy like he was prey. And after the first minute, Ray caught Tommy with an overhand right, which sent him crashing into the ropes. As he's falling backwards to the ropes, Ray follows him with his hands up in the air like, I'm the champion. All right. And then he goes in for the kill. He starts opening up on combinations, non-stop combinations, and then he starts calling the ref to stop the fight. Does it once, does it twice, does it the third time, and finally, the ref calls the fight. 14th round KO win for Leonard. What a fight. Both these fighters gained so much credibility after this fight. Ray now could not be denied anymore that he was the greatest of that time. And Tommy showed how much heart and boxing IQ he has. They did have a rematch, which I did a segment on in my series of greatest robberies in boxing. Check it out. But outside of that, they both earned each other's incredible respect. Somewhat friends. I fought on a card in where Tommy Hearns was the guest of honor at the show. So during our pre-fight press conference, I asked Tommy, "Are you still friends with Hagler and Duran the way you're friends with Ray?" And Tommy says, "Who told you I was friends with Ray?" I said, "Okay, I'll get my facts straight before I ask you another question." He goes, Ray's a special individual. He very much is the prima donna of the group. We're not enemies, but we have a great deal of respect for each other. I don't think you can ask for anything more than that. They helped each other be etched in boxing history. They need each other. So that's my episode for today. So with that, if you like this episode, please smash the like button and hit subscribe. Please. Oh, and don't forget the notification bell. Is your boy Bola? That's a scoop.
Well said, young man.
Cheers.
That's been a great series on just, and that was an epic fight, by the way. And your analysis of it was fantastic all the way through those rounds.
Cheers.
Yeah, well done. I'm sure that fight fans out there have one question, just like I do, and the question would be: out of those four, who was your favorite? Who's your top guy? Who was it?
That's my episode for Tuesday of next week.
All right, fair enough. Keep me hanging.
I have one more fight coming up on Monday, which is Leonard Hearns. Oh, Leonard Hagler. Leonard Hagler.
Oh wow. Okay, great, fantastic.
So
the series continues.
The series continues.
Okay. Looking forward to it. Fantastic. Thanks very much, Ray. Appreciate it. Thanks very much. Good listenership. Good viewership. Thank you. It's been a great, great week. And that was so well done. I'm really proud of you. That's great.
Thanks.
And we'll see you on Monday.
I'll be here.
Like, share, subscribe.